Alright guys, so today we will do our first screencast here, and we're going to kind of pick up where we left off yesterday with when I showed you a little introduction to the Xcode here. So today we're going to go a little further and just start adding in elements to our app and just kind of looking at the interface builder and what we're going to use it for. So if you have not done so yet, go ahead and open up Xcode here. Okay, again, I know we have some of you still updating to version 9.2, but again, if you're on 8.3.3, that's fine. We'll get your computer updated and you can still work with us here today. All right, so let's get going here. All right, so let's go ahead and create a new Xcode project here. Okay, and then we're going to go through these steps like yesterday. So again, we're in iOS. We're going to make a single view app. And we're going to click on next. And let's go ahead and make this one call. We'll call it Interface Builder app. All right, so we're going to learn about Interface Builder, and then everything should be the same as yesterday. If you're new, just coming in, you did not get into Xcode yesterday, you just go ahead and throw your last name in for the organization identifier. Make sure it's Swift. We're going to click on next, and then we can go ahead and save into our folder we made at the start of class here. Again, so our mobile apps folder. I don't have that, but just make sure you have that in your mobile apps folder and click on create, and we'll get to work here. Okay, so again, so from this view, these are just kind of some of the general settings. Again, just kind of some of the behind the scene things with our app. What we're going to do today though is work on our main storyboard. So let's click on main storyboard. Okay, so now every time we make an app, we're going to get our interface builder loaded up, which is what we see here. So this is our view controller. All right, remember our view controller is controlled by this view controller.swift file. Okay, but for right now, let's just stay out on the main storyboard and just work with interface builder. Okay, so every time we create an app, all right, we got this storyboard view controller created right here. All right, it will also have an outline view. If it's not opened up on your computer, all you have to do is just look for this icon, show document outline, open it up, and then you can see, we'll kind of show you how this connects here. But again, here's our view controller scene, has a view controller, which is this. Okay, and then as you can see, as that view controller opens up, we've got a view in there, and we'll start adding to it. All right, so a quick tour of interface of the builder here is on the left. This is kind of our project panel. We've got all our different files for our interface builder app. So as you can see, when you can open it up, all our files are inside here. All right, we just talked about the outline view. Again, this is a good way to stay organized. Okay, you can toggle that open and closed here by just playing around with that. All right, here is our storyboard view. Okay, and then on the right here is just, these are different panels that are going to change. It could be the attributes inspector. Basically, these icons here, if you put it over there, you've got a file inspector. All right, we've got quick help, so from documentation, identity inspector. We'll spend a lot of time in this one. This is the attribute inspector. This is the size inspector, and then we'll also be looking at this connection inspector too. All right, but the attributes inspector is useful because it basically allows us to change the appearance, the color, or if you want to change a font style. So it gives us a lot of those editing features there. Okay, bottom right. Okay, and again, you might be on. Yours might look like this. If it is, click on this icon. Okay, this is going to go ahead and give us our object library. So these are all the different things we can add to our project, either putting on storyboard or adding multiple view controllers. So we're going to work with that today, and also you'll be using that throughout the semester. Okay, so let's get going here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to add some different things here, different features. So let's say we want to change the background color of what our app looks like. Okay, so we want to change the view. Okay, so get that out of here. Sorry about that. Okay. So for every view controller, we have a view. And you'll notice the view highlights, because I've selected it here. So that's the view of my view controller. So we want to change the background color of that. So to do it, again, you can click either here, and you'll notice it highlights, or you can click there. Two ways to do it, okay? In our attribute inspector, you'll notice that it's now changed to view because we're now inside the view, so we can format and we can customize our view. So let's change this background color. So if you come down a little bit the background, you can pull down, you got some color options. Okay, we can go to other to pull up some more exciting color choices here. All right, and then as you click on the icons, they just give you different ways of doing that. Okay, so I'm going to go to this one. Okay, and then they give you different options here, crayons, whatever you want to work with here. Okay, so for right now I'm just going to choose a blue background, and you'll notice my whole view changes to blue. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close that out. So that's part one. Okay, so nothing too exciting there, but again, it's just an easy way to change the background color of that, in our interface builder. So now we're going to add some words and some content to our app. Okay, so to do that, we got to work with our object library, which is down here. Okay, so to do that, let's make that. There you go. All right, I'm going to go ahead and filter here. So I want to put a label on my storyboard. So I'm going to type in label, or excuse me, I'm going to put a label on my view, and I can filter it out, and I got a label, a variably sized amount of static text, blah blah blah. Okay, so all I have to do to add this is click on it, drag it, and then as you can see, I can now place this label wherever I'd like to within my view. Okay, so why don't we go ahead, if we can put that in the top left, you'll notice there's some, kind of gives you some grid lines to kind of help you. But go ahead and drop that label in the top left kind of our view controller. You'll now notice in our outline, our view controller has a view, which now has a label. So it's kind of all keeps you in order here. All right, so now to change our label, again, with our attributes inspector turned on, it should say label. If it doesn't, just click on the label and it should turn on the label. Okay, so a couple things we can do. All right, so from here we can click on those boxes and we can drag out the label. All right, we can make it big, small, whatever you'd like to do there. Okay, you can change the text of that either by double clicking in there. Okay, or if you go to your attributes inspector, when you click on the label, you can come here and change that. So let's go ahead and just change this to my first app. Okay, so that's one thing we can do. All right, if you want to center that, you can come down to alignment and you can move that in and you can center the text inside there. If you want to change the color of that, you can click on our color again and we can change that to do a different color if you'd like. Okay, if you want to change your font, if you click on the letter T right here, it's going to give you some options. So right now it's a system font, but if you go, you can choose some of the different text styles here. Or if you want to get more advanced, you can go to custom, and then you got a whole variety of, look at that ton of fonts that you can play around with and find one that you would like to work with there. Okay, so you can explore that on your own time there. And then size, you can change your text, the text of that by clicking on the size option and clicking done. Okay, so that's just some ways that you can easily format a label. As you move down, if you want to change the background of the label, you want a different color, you could come to view, and then I could change the background here, and if I wanted to change that to a green for whatever reason, really make it stand out, I could change the background color there, and all's good. Okay, so that's just some introductory stuff there. Okay, also with our label still selected, if you click on the size inspector, okay, this is where you can control the position of it if you'd like, the width, the height. Again, you can change the width here, so again, if I change that to 300, it's going to change accordingly. I change that to 40. You can notice that changes. Or you can do the same thing by dragging there. It's whatever you prefer. Okay, so again, you can control it all just by dragging it out. So why don't we go ahead though, we'll just kind of center that up, my first app right there. Okay, and then from there, again, as you work with our interface builder, again, let's say you wanted to add a button, you can just come down here and type button in, it filters it, and then we got our first thing here is that we can add a nice button to our screen. And you'll notice as you move the button around, it kind of gives you blue kind of guidelines so you can align it with that label. So now when your button's added, again, you'll notice it adds the button with our label. So again, on our view, we've got an app label, and now we got a button. So we can do the same thing. We can click on Attributes Inspector. Okay, we can change the title, or excuse me, we can change the text of that. We can say like press here. All right, now again, notice it's a little too small, so I can drag that out, make it a little bigger here. All right, and line that up. Okay, so now again, we look at our button, kind of hard to see it, so we can make some changes to it there. We can change the background color of it, so that way it stands out a little more. There we go. Now it looks like a little easier to read there. So again, we're just adding elements to it, and just make it a nice kind of easy app here as we go. Okay, so with that, again, just kind of a couple introductory steps here just to get you used to Interface Builder moving around. But kind of just to review some of the key points here is that every time you make an app, you're going to get a main storyboard file that's going to have our view here to work with. So this view controller scene has a view controller, which is this whole rectangle. Then within that view controller, there's a view, which is this rectangle that's now highlighted. Then anything you add to the view, whether it be a label or a button, just gets added underneath the view for us to work with. Okay, so that's all we're going to cover on this one here. So once you get done with this, you'll have a quick review problem. So my challenge is when you go through that review problem, try to do that without looking back at this video. See if you can do that all on your own, just to get good practice to make sure you're really getting it. And then when we get back, later, next week, we'll start learning some of the code so we can make this button do things, get a little more exciting. But we just want to start, getting a feel for the program. If you have questions, just make sure you're asking in class. All right, but good job getting through your first screencast, and then go ahead and take care of that review problem. See you guys.